Hi guys, welcome back. We just took a little bit of an extended break as the players requested it, just to give themselves some time to talk within, plan, strategize, and get ready for the grand finals of Group A. It is the path to Santa Ana, Group A. We've had an amazing day so far, some incredibly close matches, but it all comes down to this. It's Ago versus Valiance. Who will win? Squid and Hawker will cast that match. Over to you guys.
Thanks very much once again, Nikita. Great job. And obviously, it's grand final time. We're about to find our first finalist. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Give me a prediction. You've got to hit me up with a prediction.
I mean, if you're forcing me to, I've got to predict Ago. I mean, this is remember, it's a rematch of the very first match of the day, if the viewers can remember back that long, because that was a long time ago.
About 6 months ago, right?
Yeah, pretty much at this point.
A while ago, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that one was fairly close, but Ago, they got off to a really strong start. I kind of felt like Ago were, for the most part, in control. Even though, of course, it did get down to the wire, they just got up to such a strong lead. Maybe they started cruising a bit, and with so much on the line here, you wouldn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, of course, a bit of a deep dive into one of these lineups. Of course, Ago, our favourites to make the final stage. We've been saying it since a couple of hours ago. Funnily enough, that's a joke, Ago. Yeah. A couple of hours ago, obviously, nice. A couple of star performers there. Big matchup, 20th in the world on HLTV as well, and a pretty thoroughly deserved spot as well. Haven't had their chance at Tier 1, but perhaps Legends Series, they could break out. They could break out. They have had a couple of opportunities at WESG, these tournaments with the online qualifiers that lead directly through to a bigger lands. I'd like to see them maybe at a Star Ladder or a bigger tournament like that, perhaps, to maybe prove their worth.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's certainly a team that can compete. They've proven that today. They've looked very good. And of course, we also have to talk about the Valiance side of things. They started out the day maybe a bit rough, but they did take that first game close, and they've come back ever since. We saw in that previous game, they looked very, very good. 16-4. Of course, that was on Nuke, not a map we're expecting to see here, but still just showing that the whole team could show up. I was particularly impressed with ME on Nuke. He's someone that normally is a bit in the background, but he had a great showing there. If he can continue that alongside some of the other players, maybe that would be enough to take them over the edge, but it's still a very tough ask against a team like Ago.
And of course, Hunter, you can't not talk about him in situations like these. He got 22, 24 frags in such a short game as well. Normally 24 frags isn't like a standout superstar performance, but he really made it work. That was in about 20 rounds, so finding at least a kill a round, like averaging that 1.1, 1.2 kills per round, which is where you want to be as a star player. Hunter is that star player. He needs to have a huge performance tonight if they're going to make it through to that final stage, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think so. And this is kind of the storyline we've been building up all day. Can he do it against some of the better teams? We've seen him against some of the weaker opposition. He does oftentimes have success there, but there's quite a few players that can't necessarily translate that against some of the better, more well-established teams. And I think Ago is certainly one of those teams that he could struggle against. But we are going to be seeing a different map from what we saw in the first game where these two teams played each other. We are going to be on Mirage instead of Inferno. And I don't know how much of a difference this will make. I still think it's fairly similar, of course, fairly middling for both of these teams. As Emmy, with the fake Glock, manages to win the night.
He's playing it out. There's a little bayonet on the end of that. Stabbing away, slicing it up. Valiance picking that CT side, and supposedly they're favoured right now. But I think those odds are switched. I think they're flipped just because they won the knife round, of course. Yeah. And supposedly this CT side should be the favoured side. But Ago, we've seen them perform pretty routine Counter-Strike and pretty routinely absolutely obliterating any opposition on this T side. Maybe once again today we'll see that. Of course, this pistol round is live, so Hunter finding a couple of kills outright, and Ago being sliced up before they make their way into this B site. Jocks it still here as the insurance policy all stops that bomb from going down. Getting headshot by PHR. Shutting one more down. As the bomb dropped, and this is chaos on the B site. Is Ago find the frags? Valiance seem like a bit of a lackluster pistol.
Yeah, it looked like Valiance were rotating over fairly quickly, got into some decent positions fairly quickly, but still Ago able to frag out. They get themselves the pistol round, and so, of course, they will follow up with the SMGs. A couple of MAC-10s also on their side of things. Fairly expected buys, I guess you could say, for both teams. And again, I do like that Valiance, they don't really invest heavily into the Kevlar, so we will get to see a very strong buy once they get into that gun round, assuming that they don't move one of these force buys earlier, which doesn't look likely as Grubby already gets that first kill. Teo gets one for himself. The AK also chimes in, and already the two-man lead, as expected for Ago, although Emmy, at the very least, gets one kill back.
A Snatchy again, MAC-10 raining in. Another frag for him. Another bit of cash in his pocket. And they go, looking to salvage mid-control once again. Of course, Hunter swiping his way through. He's got a CZ, wanting to get up close and personal. Of course, close quarters combat with the CZ75, exactly where you want to be. But on Mirage, a lot of these medium to longer distance engagements, especially where he's playing, looking all the way down mid. There you go, with the AK-47s really can open it up. And you see Letney just playing here, hiding away with the Deagle, wanting to hit a fast headshot. We've seen these Deagles have such high impact all day.
Yeah, but he's going to have a very big round here by himself on the A site for the time being. And he may hear some noise coming through towards him, but still no reaction from Letney. The push is coming in. They're not going to clear the corner. Oh, Grubby just about comes back in time. 1 HP, but he still gets the kill. And Hunter with that CZ is not really close enough to the action. He's going to try and maybe make his way in towards window. I think this should have been heard by Grubby there. Instead, though, he's going to drop back towards mid. Maybe try and get that ump. Maybe see if he can slither away. He also has the Zeus. Wouldn't be a bad idea to drop his CZ over to his teammate as well if he can get the save, so that Valiance will have at least a little bit to work with. But still, of course, certainly should be expecting Ago now to take that 3-0 lead.
Of course, Hunter just trying to salvage and save that UMP. A little bit of extra buy. A bit of bang for your buck, of course, after going for minimal investment. Deciding to save 2 potential weapons, or 3, I guess, the Zeus as well. That could be put to good use.
You can drop the Zeus now as well if he wants to drop it to a teammate. That's an option.
Drop it to Trilux.
Yeah, why not?
Just a little meme there. Oh, look at that. A couple of posters. Loving the MountainDew. Has anybody seen our mobile esports truck, Big Betty? Fan, please contact twitter.com/squidcs.
I might send you a tweet, because I think I may have found it.
Send me an email. Oh, yeah.
I think it's big enough. It should be found.
But is it Betty enough?
Oh, good question. Furlan opens up B, stack towards A. Not too much to be said about this round. We can keep talking about Big Betty if you want, as Grubby gets a... Ooh, okay, very clean kills from him. Go on, get the 4th. Nope, doesn't quite.
Never happens, does it?
No, never. I mean, it wouldn't have really been a highlight play, but never the nice plays. Hunter not even going to get the AK, though. Snatchy's coming in. Oh, okay.
Oh, let's see it. Hey!
Sounds like a football game.
It is.
Oh, here comes the nade. Oh, it's too late. It's too late in the day. This is what we've come to. Imagine if we did that for literally every kill left in the game. Oh, boy. Do you think Twitch chat would enjoy it?
No. No, they're probably already pissed. They're probably already like, kick noob caster. Kick 12-year-old caster.
Hey, I may have the look of a 12-year-old, but the voice of a 30-year-old
man.
Yeah, apparently so. I'll take it. Maybe when I'm older, I'll look younger, and maybe I can, you know, that'll work in my way. That'll work in my favor. That'll work out. Should we talk about some Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
We're into a buy round, so
sure, go for
probably
it.
go a bit more seriously now.
You can go for it.
Again, Joxic has that AWP. We've seen him be fairly explosive. Back on Inferno, especially, that Haven't really had to see him on Mirage. Of course, this is the first time we've seen Mirage all day. Both sides are going to have the AWP, and currently Joxic is just sitting in towards window. Generally, you will see a smoke come in towards window, but this time, nothing of the sort from Ago, and this could allow Valiance. You can already see a couple of players towards mid trying to get some info, and more importantly, Joxic just gets an opening kill for his team as that AWP does manage to find the opening frag.
Yeah, remember this grand final is a best of one. So Valiance could be just gifted an opportunity based on that. I think a best of 3 against Ago, one of the best in the world, probably a little more than they can chew. Joxic again with the AWP, about to spring into life over this smoke. Again, Letney picking through one and Joxic picking through the other. 2 for them. Oh, Joxic just whiffing by a whisker, but hits to follow up. Valiance finally on the board.
Yeah, and that's always worth talking about. The AWPs on Mirage, you can certainly play them in plenty of positions. And speaking of those AWPs, we will see a second one come through for Neno, as we have been seeing all day. And you kind of saw there, Joxic, even after he got the opening kill in towards window, there are lots of positions you can go towards. He goes in towards ticket booth there, gets himself another frag, continues to frag out from CT. And Ago will still have themselves a buy, but they don't want to go for the AWP this time. Teo could have dropped it if necessary, but he decides against it, decides to invest into that AK. And I think I'd rather see Ago. We didn't really see them go for the mid presence in the previous round. That's oftentimes where you'll see the fights come through. At the very least, I want them to throw that smoke out towards mid, because otherwise Joxic can just hold that position, and it gives a lot more map control to the CT side.
Play sentiment to the depth of this Polish side. Obviously, Snatchy, one of the better AWPers in Poland, possibly the second or third best AWPer in the whole of that region. Doesn't even need to get it out. Instead, can play the AK-47 and they can go for a bit of a faster, looser strat. Especially on Mirage, where there's a lot of execute potential. Especially onto the A site, where you're given ground to set up those smokes. And especially with an AK-47, you can get up close and personal. And Snatchy, he's so explosive, both with the AWP and with that automatic rifle.
We will get to see the round come underway. Teo had plenty of money and he doesn't buy the nades. That's a little bit disappointing, but we will get to see the 3 players move their way towards that B bomb site to start things off. Joxic not going to be in towards window to hold mid this round. That might work out for him because there are plenty of poles ready to push towards top mid. Joxic might be in position to try and again get an opening kill with that AWP. I think he did just fire off a shot, but not quite connecting early on. So this time, as I was hoping, Ago will get some mid presence early into the round.
Ter with an opener there on this T side, of course. Ago absolutely slaughtered earlier. Couldn't really get it going on the T side, but this time, oh, it's Joxic up close, poking his way through. Grubby gets annihilated up close, stabbed out of the way with the AWP.
Yeah, very surprising. Again, we were saying earlier on, Joxic was one of the keys to victory for Valiance, and if that can continue here onto Mirage, then they might just be able to put up a fight. Ago, though, will still be grouping up towards B. However, Joxic is the man in position, ready and waiting with the AWP. Such an easy kill for him. Not even a flash to try and get him off the angle. There's no nades left, and Joxic gets all 4 kills. Again, his AWP stepping up to start off this CT side.
He even got the assist on the 5th, so potentially the ace there for Joxic. Only the 4. Can't be disappointed. Obviously, this AWP, exact what Valiance need to be rolling, firing on all cylinders. We said Joxic, Hunter, they need to be the stars to shine in this game. And Mirage gives space to those stars, especially. I don't know why AGO want to be playing on this map. I feel like it's probably one of the weakest for this matchup. I feel like Valiance, maybe AGO want more of a challenge. 16-14 earlier wasn't quite close enough.
Well, we'll have to see if your thoughts are right, as Ago early on certainly have been forced back. Going to see some mid-presence come in again. Fairly often, it seems like AGO don't particularly have too much utility left. In the previous round, where we saw the guns come into play, they didn't really have any nades at the end to try and take that B site. This time, just going for the pistol investment with the players that can afford it, and Teo spots the shoulder. There we go. He will get that first headshot, but Hunter should be in position to get a kill back. Ooh, takes a dink for his troubles, but up against the Glock, that's not a massive issue. The AWP, though, now is in the hands of Snatchy. So that could spell trouble here. There's only 3 players left on the CT side. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful about this one, especially as Grubby gets another kill. Finally, some frags coming back. And more importantly, that's the 2 guns that were recovered, dropped. But PHR can recover the AWP, go for the peek. But Emmy makes sure to shut him down and leave Furlan all alone.
He's got that deagle, got to do more work. One of the players who haven't found a frag just yet. So they've not got a crossfire at all, and this B site completely open and exposed. Furlan gonna sneak and slither his way in like a little Polish snake and grab this bomb plant. It's going to be fairly easy with Valiance playing the buddy system over towards the A site. 10 seconds left. Unless he makes a massive blunder and whiff here, he's going to be able to get that bomb down. Finally plants it. Now, what can he do with the deagle? His answer is to get slightly closer. That flash does give away their position slightly. And Hunter here, oh, get taken out, but Furlan able to find it. Emmy seems a little confused and dazed. But it is going to be this 3rd round for Valiance, closing up the scoreline, but so much damage done by this Polish side. So good with the pistols. And you saw how calm and collected Grubby, was. Over towards mid. He spotted out the leg but went for the headshot instead of towards connector, opening up. I think a less collected player would have possibly taken that shot early, did a bit of damage and get taken out, but 3-3 being the scoreline regardless.
Yeah, and we will now get to see that AWP back in the hands of Snatchy. And of course, Joxic himself still happy to sit with the AWP for the CT side. We're not going to see one for Neno, but of course, Joxic has been the man in form so far for Valiance to start off this CT side. And AGO here, grouping up around A early on. Teo's going to be the one man out towards mid, and look at the aggression. Hunter is forced to fall back here, so Teo is going to sell a lot of presence towards mid as he gets the opening kill. Hunter is there for the backstab, but now the A site push comes through, and Valiance won't really in position to hold this off as Joxic goes down. The AWP on AWP fight goes the way of Snatchy, and the site is completely lost unless Neno gets this one kill. It does get traded on though, so still Valiance going to struggle to retake.
They've got a couple of nades left. There's one of the flashes initially thrown out. That Molotov needs to be put to good use by Hunter. They've both got kits, so they can afford to take their time. The smoke as well. I actually hate this retake. Hunter finds the opener back onto this A site. There's a flash picked up off the ground. Thrown out initially. There's the smoke as well. They're actually both smoked off. They're going to have to push through this, and the Molotov can be dropped right in front. Hunter taking the defuse. It's not going to be the push out wide early on. Furlan just playing the smoke so well, so calm as Hunter did take the bomb, but Furlan didn't seem to hear it. Instead, hit a thunder of footsteps towards him. Hunter instead just backing off. What chaos on that site, but Valiant seemed to, well, they didn't find the right play.
Yeah, not quite being able to have the time left to retake there, even after that fake defuse. Not really working well for them, and they will still get the buy on their hands. Not quite the AWP into the hands of Snatchy, who did beat out Joxic in the previous round. He will just have to rely on the AK, and we are going to see, again, quite a few players lean towards B to start the round. Teo is the man on the other side, who might be taking the point if they do indeed group up. The bomb isn't with the rest of the team here towards B apartments just yet. So not expecting the push to come through all that early. And Hunter is one of the players on this B bomb site, so he could certainly attempt to shut this one down. But it looks like AGO themselves not quite ready to commit anywhere just yet.
And of course, 5 AK-47s, AGO deciding to utilize this faster setup, more dynamic. But Valiance finally going for a bit of a mixed match play. Pushing 2 players up to the top of mid. Oh, spawning out, but Teo's going to push into it. He even nails a headshot. How the hell does he manage that? There you go. Looking to maybe take this B site now. Just standing, lurking right outside. Valiance don't have so many players here at all, but with Grubby top of mid, Agio players everywhere, they're going to slow it down slightly.
Again, the mid presence comes in, but PHR does take a nade to the face. In the meantime, though, Grubby will get 1 kill before he is dropped. However, you can see the B site is actually wide open. Joxic does get into position, but misses the shots. And AGO will get the bomb planted with now the man advantage. Joxic, though, flushes in. He has been so quick with the AWP, and that looks to continue here on Mirage. He gets that first kill and gives his team still a chance, but Neno is still so far away. He's out towards mid. You can see Joxic patiently waiting, hoping that Neno can get something done. Now Joxic will go for the peek. There might be a gap in the smoke he can try and exploit, but it doesn't look like it. There goes Neno, though. They don't expect such a long flank to come through. And so Snatchy has it all to do. He can try and play the clock, but he's stuck on the site. Neno pushing in. They don't clear the corner. Snatchy gets himself a sneaky kill, and he makes it the second. I don't know if there was time for the defuse either way, but they just didn't quite clear that one position that Snatchy was in. And you saw there, Joxic initially got caught off guard, and that meant that there was no real chance at that point for Valiance.
Oh, he picked up the AWP, but deciding to... Oh no, that was an overbuy, buying the AK-47. He picked up the AWP, threw away an AK-47, maybe getting a bit ahead of themselves, of course. Nice clutch there from Snatchy, staying extremely calm on the B site, just dodging and weaving, finding shots. Left, right, and center, forcing out the eco. Valiance, $300 investment total, plus the $700 deagle. Quick maths, $1,000.
Indeed. Well, looking at the scoreboard, I can see the quick maths are that AGO are up right now, and they're looking to extend it. That's not even maths, that's just reading numbers. I mean, I guess numbers are maths.
Reading
5
numbers
is bigger
is
than 3.
the lowest maths.
Yeah, maths. That's it. We are going to see AGO make their way into connector. A little bit scary. There are some close range angles here.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. Here we go. Easy pre-fire, easy opening kill. And Tao himself will also chime in with a frag. Very standard stuff.
That's where you'd be calling hacks in matchmaking. Pre-fire like that.
Oh, yeah.
Hacker noob.
Absolutely.
Ban VAC.
Clearly.
Vac. That's what I'd be saying, at least.
Yeah.
I'd be shouting.
In that accent as well?
Yeah, that's my real accent. It's only a fake one. ME going to be stealing away an AK-47. Maybe wanted to slip away, but of course, 4 players left. About to circle him in. Like sharks, like Polish sharks as well. Red and white. That's the blood, of course. ME hidden here in Palace. Of course, wanting to keep that AK-47 alive, and maybe Jago will allow it. Of course, the risk reward probably isn't there. Their economy is so strong right now, and ME not quite dying to that bomb, of course, down to 14 HP. Still swayed that AK-47, so a little bit of extra utility to be using in this 10th round, but it isn't a difference maker. They would have been able to afford 5 rifles regardless. It's just a little bit of extra bang for your buck.
Heading into round 10, AGO don't have that much money built up, which is maybe somewhat surprising, but they are certainly still in the ascendancy so far. Out comes the incendiary. Oh, Snatchy will indeed be forced back, so that AWP won't really get too much of a chance to do anything early on. We have seen Snatchy, though, with that AWP, when he's had it in his hands, look fairly good so far, even beating out Joxic once or twice in the Battle of the AWPers. So we'll have to see if he can find those similar fights again. We are going to see Joxic, as we have seen in the past, reposition from mid. Plenty of angles he can play, but Grubby on the edge of this smoke could catch them off guard. Oh, the timing slightly off, and that allows Joxic himself to take a scalp, finding that first kill with the AWP. If he just held that angle, he might have got the opening for AGO, but instead they go man down to start things off, and now they are all positioned in towards mid.
This is what makes AGO so deadly. They've got so many playmakers. You saw Snatch's thought process up in apps. The Molotov came in. His thought process was, yeah, I'm going to stay and fight. I'm going to try and find this opening frag. Didn't manage it. Grubby doing the same as well. Throws out a Molotov, not catching anybody out. So AGO getting unlucky early. I would say Valiance probably lucky to be found in this position, but turned on its head as PHR finds this opener, and look at Snatchy go, just finding frag after frag. Oh, looks for the third as well, but Hem is able to capitalise. It's all down to Letney. 20 seconds left. He's got to slow this one down, but Furlan with a pair of headshots. Left and right finds them both.
And yet again, Snatchy manages to take down Joxic early on. That's actually really important. If he can continue to find that frag, Joxic has been one of the star performers for Valiance so far today. So the fact that he is taking out that AWP fairly consistently really bodes well for their chances in these gun rounds. And of course, this won't even be a gun round for Valiance. They have to go for just the pistols on their side of things. And yeah, again, just Snatchy making plays, making it happen despite going down a man. He forces the fights and gets his team into position to win the rounds. I'm going to see ME hope that someone walks into his crosshair, and PHR might deliver on his promise. The spray comes in, and the CZ always going to do work up close like that. He gets himself an AK alongside the Kevlar, but it's just as I say that, Snatchy will make sure there is no chance for that AK to get away. He goes down. Snatchy trying to play a very tight angle here. I don't expect Hunter to peek too far. Oh, this is awkward. I don't think he's quite going to spot Hunter out, as Hunter just sticks to the right-hand side. And there are a few players now stacked to the B site, and that is currently where AGO are trying to push towards.
Of course, 4 versus 4. AGO electing to go for this B site. Hunter caught here with a flashbang in hand. Letney hits that initial frag, but the flashbang's just a second too late. Teo's able to capitalize straight onto this B site, but they've still got Letney to contend with. Tries to molly him out, but instead, Grubby taking the back line. While we're watching this, it's Furlan and Toa instead to find a pair of shots on this site. Instead, Nino caught all alone. Furlan's been so crisp with those headshots, finds another.
Yeah, certainly upping his game in these recent rounds, and I think Valiance have finally realized that this is getting a little bit out of hand. 8-3 down, and we will have a pause come into play. They do have plenty of money at the very least, so they can, if they so desire, go for those 2 AWPs that we did see in the 1 round previously, but we haven't really seen them come out consistently. So I guess that's the main thing to watch out for in this buy, if Neno goes for that AWP again, because he's struggled a little bit to find frags so far, so maybe having that AWP will be the switch up that he needs. But I guess we should also talk about the AWP on AGO side of things. Again, Snatchy has also been playing fairly well for them so far, oftentimes even taking out Joxic early on, which has really helped just shut Joxic out of these all-important gun rounds. And I think that is a big part as to why AGO are in such a dominant position right now.
Nothing seems to be able to stop them thus far. Obviously, we're talking about this star power, we're talking about the fragging power. Of course, Nino, as you said, not really showing up. There's Letney as well, not doing similar. Back to this round. Of course, Joxic, again with the AWP. Snatchy has one of his own. Snatchy's been winning this battle so far. Joxic has been hitting frags, of course, changing up his position, keeping unpredictable. That's what you want to be on the CT side, but yet again, AGO just splitting, trying to maybe find one of these playmates. Of course, towards this A site, Grubby's been pushing ramp, trying to find these entry frags. Again, Valiance throwing a spanner in the works. It's the flashes, the peaks, not catching anybody out early.
Yeah, not really going to see any damage done to start the round, but we are going to see AGO group up fairly early on, definitely leaning towards that B bomb site. And currently there are a couple of players here, but the AWP of Joxic is very far away, back towards the A side of the map. So if AGO do go for the push, they at the very least won't have that AWP to contend with. And you can see now they might line it up. Furlan looks ready to try and take the point and take the bomb site, with a couple of players lining up the flashes behind him. And Valiant's still not really going for any aggression or any rotation over. They don't really have the information to know that it's likely to be a B site play. Slowly but surely, their utility will dwindle away, and AGO will likely go for the push shortly.
Yeah, this is going to be a classic split here. Here come the nades raining in. ME. Oh, is it going to be a bit of a fake? You can see them kind of second-guessing themselves, but with only 30 seconds left, they forced Nino back to this A site, and they're about to make this push. Furlan, oh, not spotting the first man. ME actually catching a break there as he swings out for 2. Teo stuck in no man's land, only finds a single frag, tries to return back for another, but it's Snatchy instead with the AWP to be caught outside line by Hunter. 4 rounds for Valiance.
And again, Emmy playing really well. He's actually leading the way in terms of frags for Valiance, which isn't something you see too often. And he was also playing well in the previous game that Valiance played today. So it's really nice to see him also step up alongside the likes of Joxic and Hunter to allow more players to sort of frag out for the team. But still, even with him playing well, Valiant struggling to convert rounds so far. Only 4 on the board on their CT side. So we'll have to see if they can build up a bit of a winning streak here off the back of the 1-round win. We are going to see AGO again leave the bomb back towards T-spawn. So should be a fairly slow round. You can see Snatchy also just holding off. Seems like Valiants are fairly set on this similar setup in every round now, where Joxic with the AWP is holding the A side of the map, and then couple of players towards B, couple towards mid to see if they can get any information. But AGO slowly but surely creeping and crawling their way forwards. But Joxic over towards A gets the first kill. Neno there went down in towards mid, and the presence is coming in. Hunter only gets the one before the trade comes out. So even trades early on, back to a 3v3. But Valiance are spread somewhat thinly, and the AWP just gets annihilated by Furlan on the A push.
You can see a 3 versus 2. The advantage firmly in the Polish side's favor once again as Furlan able to level it back to a 2 versus 1, keeping this advantage in every single scenario. Emmy, he's got a lot of work to do. Stuck out here in jungle. A bit tentative to be able to go for this plant here. The smoke, the Molotov out, as I feel like they have heard Emmy. Oh, Snatchy annihilates with a headshot.
Switching it up to the AK, but still finding just as much success for AGO to take the 9-4 lead, and Valiance have decided they will go for the force into this round. So if they lose this one into the last round of the half, their bye should be weak. But they're just going to have to rely on these M4s. And AGO, again, they're grouping up early. We've seen them group up early a couple of times, but not really commit to such a fast push. This time that might change, as we're already seeing a couple of players line up some smokes. Wouldn't be surprised to see a faster play, and here we go. They're making their way out through B apartments already, switching up the pace. The Poles try to take B. However, Hunter will get the first kill on the hold. And Emmy is also holding up close to CZ. Can't get it done, but Hunter fine to dink, not quite the kill. But in the meantime, the rotate is heavily over here. AGO needs to commit to this push. Finally, Teo gets a kill, but it's just not enough. Still a man down, the bomb down. But PHR and Snatchy both get a kill each. It's all up to Neno, who does manage to save the one kill back with the CZ. But this 1v1 is crucial for Valiance now.
A nade would be a deal maker for Snatchy, but Valiance say desperately need this clutch. Obviously, bomb strapped to his back. Opportunities to go to either site. He's firmly on B, doesn't know this rotation's come through. The in-game leader of the Serbian side playing it perfectly, and he even finds the frag. A beautiful double from Nino as he closes out this 5th round and really keeps Valiance in this half. That would have been double digits for AGO. An absolutely abysmal start for Valiance, but he does keep them in this.
I was saying earlier as well, Valiance would have bad money if they lost the round. AGO, in fact, don't really have a great buy. A couple of players forced down to CZ. Snatchy doesn't even have Kevlar, and a few of them are having to go without helmets. In fact, only Furlan able to invest into that full helmet. But we are going to see AGO go for an A push. We haven't really seen them group up around A too often, especially early into a round. Generally, they've been hitting A when they have had some mid-presence previously. So we'll have to see if Snatchy can work a pick towards this A site. Again, Joxic himself cannot afford that AWP. So it might be easier for Snatchy to try and go in first, but instead Teo going to try and take the site. He's just pushing so aggressively. Neno, though, gets that kill in towards CT, and now a heavy rotate coming in.
These smokes placed, going to cut off visual for Valiance. And Grubby does find another frag as well. Onto this A site, PHR chipping in, back and forth. As Emmy actually bursts through with the MP9. How many frags? All 4! Emmy absolutely goes huge on the A site. And AGO shut down one more time. Valiance really firmly holding on in the last moments of this first half.
Yeah, and again, it's Emmy stepping up for Valiance. 6 rounds at the half is certainly very, very playable. We are going to, of course, head into the second half pistol now, and a couple of nades on the Valiant side. Sometimes you will see smokes come over towards A, but Emmy has gone for the molly alongside the flashes, so it would only be one smoke over the top, and yet still Valiance all grouping up around this A bomb site. In fact, the flash is already coming in. A very fast play to start things off, but Grubby gets himself a kill. The rest of the team on the A site hold also chiming in. Finally, the nade gets one back for Valiance, but it might be too little too late as PHR manages to nail yet another headshot. And it's only going to be Neno left without the Kevlar, without his teammates, and without any chance in this round.
Feels like it's been all action so far. Nino, of course, extremely intelligent, needs an absolutely brutal ace. Don't think it's going to happen. He is stuck right out of the action. A lot slower in this round, and you see AGO even going for this wraparound. Grubby behind, and Nino probably going to collapse back into it and completely faint out of this pistol round. Of course, it's one that Valiance would want, but instead it's Furlan to nail a headshot. Double digits finally for AGO.
And we will see the rifle brought straight up by Grubby. In fact, the silenced M4 for him. couple of rifles going to be invested, and on the Valiant side, they are going to have a fair amount of nades here. In fact, 5 smokes to work with. Wouldn't be surprised to see the smokes come out towards A, try and see if they can get that bomb plant, and that's exactly what they are going to go for. We saw the A site hold struggle in the previous round. Or sorry, the A site push struggle in the previous round. Let's see if Valiance can have a better time this time around, because AGO are holding fairly passively towards A.
I am a fan of this setup. The push comes in, and Grubby's the first to fall. These smokes absolutely blinding Ago, and they're actually going to push through it. Emmy going for a risk, and it doesn't pay off. Furlan finds him, side of the head. PHR wanting to get aggressive, doesn't know that Letney is right round the corner. Instead, it's the pistols chipping in once again. The first rifle found. Letney's actually going to drop. As Furlan, 1 versus 2, needs to put together a quad kill with this recently picked up M4. Knows where both players are, both finding a frag. And he is going to go for this defuse, holds it for a few seconds. CZ sweeps out, Nino finds it.
And that's exactly what Valiance needed. They managed to get the smokes towards A to have success. You saw there, AGO, they were holding so passively that they had to make a decision if they wanted to push through the smokes or if they wanted to just let the bomb go down. And when you know your opponents are only on pistols, you kind of want to deny that bomb plant. You want to get up in their face and not allow any chance of success for them. But the risk of that is always going to be you going down. So they just decide to play safe. They concede the bomb plants, and yet still they cannot frag out. And so now it's the other way around. It's AGO themselves who have to go for the force buy. They do have the scout alongside the pistols. Maybe if the scout can get some tags, will make things a little easier for these pistols to get the job done. But already, Valiance grouping up around this B site. Snatchy, though, does get the first kill. Here comes the MAC-10 running in, but Furlan wins that duel. Still looking good, though, for Valiance. They seem to have recovered themselves well. Okay, Snatchy gets another headshot with that scout. Shouldn't be able to get too much more here, as the gun barrel may have been spotted. Indeed, Joxic finishes him off. And all this time, Grubby was waiting to go for the big flank, but look at Valiance. They have read them like a book. They're going to go back towards A, and that should pretty much settle this round.
Feels like that was potentially a call from Nino, the absolute master of rotations throughout this whole game. I think they've won about 3 or 4 rounds just based off rotations alone. And Grubby, caught out of the action once again, has to break this same crossfire. Palace, CT spawn, maybe one of the hardest in the game to break. Grubby has to get aggressive and find this first frag fast, but I don't think it's going to happen. This is practically impossible. Joxic sweeps out. It's a headshot, and Valiance picks up their 8th.
Yeah, and this is looking like it could be a very, very hotly contested matchup yet again. Remember, these two teams played each other in the opening game of the day, and it finished 16-14 to AGO. I'm sure Valiance will be hoping for a reverse of that result. And, well, maybe not a reverse of that scoreline. I'm sure they want to win a bit more convincingly, but either way, I'm sure they would be happy as long as they could take the win here. And with AGO only being on pistols, this round should be a gimme. So we are only going to see Grubby on the A site. Gets flashed up, gets overwhelmed. The MAC-10 goes in for the first frag, and they will get their way towards the site. Hunter takes a fair bit of damage, but the AKs are more than capable of mopping this up.
Taking the CT control as well, knowing that they have got a lot of low players. And Valiance, the team that probably does this the most, haven't really revolutionized this like as much. But oh, Furlan, bit of a firing range there with the USP. But playing this Virtus Pro tactic of taking CT control early on, straight after that bomb gets planted, and you can see PHR, slightly different angle of engagement here as Valiance might decide to sweep their way in. Oh, it makes a bit of noise, and yeah, Joxic spots him out. Could have been the easy frag and stealing away an AK-47, but instead Valiance keep 4 players alive, and you can see how good their economy is.
And of course, we will also see AGO decide to invest. They will get the AWP into the hands of Snatchy, something that Valiance themselves do not elect to go for. So we'll see if the mid-presence does come out, if Valiance have the nades placed well enough to allow themselves to gain control towards mid, because Snatchy is in towards window with that AWP, but not particularly expecting him to get too many opportunities early on. You can see there, I think Snatchy was rattling off a couple of shots through the smoke, but will not connect early on. Ooh, getting somewhat close on the wallbang, but not really happening. So Valiance, as is fairly standard, go for the mid presence, but the boost in towards window could make things interesting. Up close, Hunter there does take down that AWP early, and he's going to keep going. Spots out the man in connector, has him sandwiched in. PHR still gets the frag, but the trade is always going to be going the way of Valiance as they gain the man advantage.
Oh, an absolute robbery. Snatchy so precariously close to nailing one of those AWP shots up mid. He's fired that blind peak 10,000 times, but it is 10-10. Drawn level at double digits is Ego. They are really struggling on the CT side. And remember, this is a best of one. They're going to be feeling the pressure at this point. They've got to put together 6 rounds somehow, and it doesn't seem to be happening. Valiance so confident and so calm as well. This is very pretty Counter-Strike. Just going for the pushes, playing very team-orientated play, and Ego, this could be a devastating upset for the Poles.
Teo going to go aggressive. Players waiting for him. Plenty of players. A firing squad, in fact, waiting for him on the other side. Push comes out. Furlan will get the 1 kill with the CZ. However, they know where he is. Actually, though, a couple of kills still coming in, and Furlan is still alive, but he is no longer for this world. Neno's nade perfectly placed to take him down. So Grubby and PHR have it all to do. Grubby, though, will get up close. For a second there, he could have had the chance to open up, but instead PHR will be left to see what he can salvage with this ump. Don't think he's going to get too many opportunities, though, and so it's looking like Valiance themselves are going to take the lead here, and maybe AGO could be thinking about taking a timeout at some point, because again, this is what they've played the whole day for, this final deciding game. And if they were to crash out now being such big favorites, that would be a bit of a shame, especially if they do it by just making mistakes where they don't exactly know what they want to do.
Next round's a buy round, though. Let's keep calm. AGO, they can get out the AWP. They've been a bit of a fan of the double AWP, but I do have to say, and on Mirage, it's one of the maps that we can really pull it out, and you can see they've got the money to maybe pull it through. Is Furlan going to get out that double AWP setup? Sometimes a bit of a fan of the auto sniper as well, I have to say, especially on this map. Playing in King Quinn, did like to whip that one out, being a bit cheeky, but instead it is that double AWP setup. AGO finally whipping it out. On Valiance's side, they've got one of their own. It's on Joxic. He has been such a firecracker so far today, and Toa almost caught with an nade out. That could have been a fast entry frag for Emmy, instead getting naded down and punished for his aggression.
I think it is also worth pointing out that PHR was playing fairly aggressively in towards A ramp, but he has now fallen back, so the information isn't necessarily there over towards A, and there's only really one player holding B here. That was aforementioned Tao. Now a player does come in towards Kitchen. So as the push comes forwards, there are a couple of players holding, but Tao is going to have to play around these angles awkwardly. Furlan, though, is the man with the AWP towards the B bomb site, and you can see the mid play still not really coming through because Snatchy gets yet another kill. The bomb's in towards B apartments, but the rest of the team not making their way up towards short just yet. And so it looks like Valiance may be having second thoughts about this B push.
And Ego finally putting something together. A 4 versus 3 in Hunter's low HP. This A site as well. Almost thrown out. Not really being too much avail, but landing behind. Oh, he's going to get taken out. PHR. His game sense is impeccable. It seems like he's always damn ready. Nobody can catch him off guard. Hunter, instead, going for this rotation up short. And there's Teo right in with the count. 11-11, keeping distance.
Yeah, you feel like Hunter should just be full clearing that corner. It's just a silly mistake to make. Doesn't completely clear that angle. That's going to cost him his life. They were in a 2v4 anyway, which they were unlikely to win. But maybe if he gets that headshot back, there's a chance for them. But either way, again, we are still all tied up. And we will also get to see a full buy for both sides. Double AWPs continue on the AGO side of things. And again, a couple of players going aggressive in towards a ramp to start things off. No presence towards mid, really. So that's interesting to watch out for if Valiance can use that to their advantage instead. You can already see Emmy making his way back around. Furlan is the one man who is watching with the AWP, but he's not particularly positioned to hold off too much of a mid play early on. It doesn't seem like we're really going to get any action. After the mid presence goes the way of Valiance, they now have to discuss what they want to do now that they have that mid control.
Yeah, and of course, minute 10 left. Plenty of time on the clock for the Valiant side. That smoke as well is going to buy connector control. As Snatchy, you can see, he's desperately trying to take a peek over it. Furlan as well, getting mollied out. So these AWPs are neutralized. They're pincered back. They cannot have that long shots in. Oh, it's Joxic instead. Pair of frags for him. Entries onto the A side. He's going for the third. Oh, misses it. Pistols out, but it's Hunter instead to find one more. Joxic needs his quad kill. We were saying he was that streaky star, and that's a third. Joxic putting it together, and he does spot out number 4. It's Furlan. He's able to find that pick, keeping AGO in this, but remember Joxic, he's just so crazy. Such a madman.
Yeah, sometimes he can just have those rounds. Not quite fully coming in this time, though. Eventually, the AWP on the opposite side of things, his opposite number, you could say, in terms of Furlan, gets that final kill to close it out. But Valiance, all grouping up around the A bomb site. We haven't seen this too often from them so far, but when they have gone for those A smokes, you remember that round with just the pistols, it was fairly successful. This time, though, AGO do have a fair few players actually committed to the site, so it will be a bit more tricky to make their way forwards. As Emmy going in first, but Snatchy, I think, got a kill before that smoke bloomed there, and there's still a player on towards the site itself. It's Grubby who chimes in with a kill of his own. Finally, Hunter opens up from the T side of things, but they've been slowed tremendously on their push. There's still a gap in that smoke that Snatchy is trying to exploit, but now the second smoke comes in. Still not really a heavy rotate over from AGO here as the bomb plant attempt comes in, and Hunter finally finding his form with a double on the A play.
Yeah, that smoke's just as bad. A big gap. There's a slight gap in the side of it. You can see PHR giving a bit of information, but holding back regardless. 3 versus 3. Both teams seem super nervous to go for any play. This is where you see mistakes made, where somebody doesn't take the advantage. Felt like Valiance could have planted that bomb there, but we're back into this stalemate with 40 seconds left.
And Valiance just want to make sure they do stick together. In this even numbers position, they can try and stick together as a 3-man unit and take some fights between them. But PHR is pushing through B apartments. He should hear these steps, though. With 26 seconds, they have to go. But PHR gets caught in the open, doesn't quite hear the steps in time. The B play will be coming through, and both Furlan and Teo are getting into position. And Furlan is here with the AWP, gets that first shot, but he's going to need a little bit more. 13 seconds, and Furlan nails a second shot. Not quite the third as Joxic gets the trade, but Tao is in position. Easy kill in the back. They don't expect both players to be committed to the B site. And Valiance there, so late into the round, they had to go for the B play, and AGO knew that. They had the advanced information. They get into position, and they get themselves another round.
Feels like Valiant should be taking the time, mate. I hate to say it, but they seem a little flustered right now. AGO are just moments away from maybe closing out this main stage, and definitely in less than flawless condition. They're a bit scarred from a couple of the bouts that they've had so far, but of course, double upset it once again. Both teams with shaky economy. Valiance, who had 5 figures on 5 players, now down in the dumps with barely any money. You can see UMP, CZ's out. They've not got much to work with.
Still getting 3 AKs at least, and some nades left to work with. They could still go for those A smokes if they wanted to, but for the time being, they will stay fairly spread out. On the AGO side, though, they've used, again, a lot of their utility early on. We've been seeing this fairly often from AGO, and yet still, in the late portions of the rounds, they have been fairly successful in being able to close it out. Ooh, Flash comes in and nearly the opening, but Emmy gets blocked by his teammate. He can't get to cover, and Letney will not be able to get the trade back. In the meantime, kills coming all across the A site. The A play is completely shut down. Joxic is the one man left to try and salvage something, but Snatchy will say no. And Letney at this point is all by himself, almost against all of the opponent's team. And what is there to do from this position?
Probably not much. I think the talking point was Joxic. He was stuck on that site. Normally decides to fight his way out with the AWP, but can't be saved by the AWP this time. He doesn't have it, and it's down to Letney. 4 versus 1, with Furlan only on the 15 HP. 8 seconds left. He's just going to try and keep this rifle alive. It's going to be the only rifle they probably have to work with in this 26th round. A chance of match and stage point. Has anybody ever said that for AGO?
You said it now. It's out there.
Check. Squid CS claiming more territory.
Oh, sounds a little bit political. I'm a little bit scared.
Can
no one else say that word?
There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of politics.
Fair enough.
I know. I was going to slag someone off, but not going to do it.
No. You're the bigger man.
Quite literally. I'm fat. I'm terribly overweight.
Brilliant. Good to know. I'm sure everyone wanted to know that.
I can see it. I can see it. When I'm at bar talk and they can see my ass.
I mean, the first step is admitting you have a problem, but there we go. Furlan in towards Kitchen yet again gets the opener with that AWP. These double AWPs have been so good so far, and Emmy will go down. Again, AGO getting those openings, and the B play still coming in. Finally, Neno gets the first kill, but the rest of his teammates are all dead. And again, Neno's going to be stuck in a fairly unwinnable position. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Players from all possible angles. And AGO have really put their foot down and not allowed Valiance any rounds in these recent performances on their T side.
Match point here, AGO just 1 out of 4 will seal the deal in the MAC-10s. They've been horrific all day. We saw Envious Academy try and use them on Cobblestone earlier on. Mirage, an even longer distance map. They're throwing them towards the A site. They're going to need the smokes here in this position, but you see PHR up close and personal. Could definitely get overwhelmed, but with an M4, definitely the weapon superiority on the AGO side.
Certainly have the better weapons, and that means the utility again is going to have to allow Valiance to get up close. Snatchy, spots out the man, but doesn't quite connect with the shot there. So instead he's going to try and deploy the incendiary to slow things. Dink comes in, PHR so low on health, he does go down. So finally Valiance, with a sub-optimal buy, get the openings they needed on the A site. The rotation is fairly quick, but look at Emmy, thinking of pushing through the smoke. Furlan here should be getting this kill. Indeed he does. Emmy is up close, but Furlan falling gets a third kill. He only needs one more frag to close this for AGO. Time's still ticking down. Neno has to make the move, and Furlan, P250 out, does huge damage. Just needs one more shot. 2 HP on Neno, should be finished off, but the damage comes back. Neno does go down, and Furlan steps up for his team to win them that map.
What a quad kill to finish off the job, to finish off the map, to finish off Group A of the main stage, of course. A pretty massive performance from AGO. Do you think, what do you have to say? Any quick opinions on this one?
I think it was fairly expected they would win to come into the day, but certainly they were pushed to their limits a fair few times, especially in that first game against Valiance, of course, only winning that one 16-14. They try and switch up the map, doesn't quite work out for them, but again, Valiance take it fairly close, so got to give them props. Taking AGO fairly close on 2 different maps, not an easy task, and I think it was a fairly good showing for them.
I have to say, Valiance have had a really good showing today and throughout the whole Legend series in its entirety. Of course, winning their group and then almost taking it here in the main stage. Either way, that's us done for today. Day 1 over and done with. See us back here an hour earlier at 5 o'clock CEST tomorrow. We'll be back, me and Hawker, to give you Group B of the main stage proceedings. See you then.
Place your bets on more than 15 esports games. Deposit and withdraw easily using many worldwide payment methods. Place your bets live while enjoying the game. We offer 24/7 support and bonuses for every new user. Bet now on ArcaneBet.com.